Welcome to another vlog. Just uploaded part 2 of the floodlight build to YouTube last night. Time you see this, it will be several days or several weeks later. But for me, right now, it was last night. We've actually had quite a bit going on here other than the floodlights. We've been, I've had a lot of non-Halloween related stuff going on. Major one is we spent several days getting all the gardens, both in the backyard and out front, cleaned up, ready for spring. They're ready for the planting. Vegetable garden needs some fertilizer in it. Then, got that done. We jumped into working on the shop. But we spent about 3 days in here getting the storage locker back there cleaned up, which allowed me to get the shop cleaned up. This is about as clean as the shop's been in ages. We bought a couple of metal shelves that we're going to be using at West Coast to hold our merchandise and stuff in the back, you know, so we're not digging things out of the boxes. And when we weren't using them at West Coast, we were going to use them in the storage locker. And we had them sitting in here in the shop in their boxes, all disassembled, for a couple of weeks. Finally got tired of tripping over the box. I said, the hell with it. Put them together, and I figured, well, if I'm going to put them together, I might as well get the shop cleaned up. I got rid of the wood shelf I had in the storage locker. Now we've got 2 metal shelves. There's one, and probably can't see the other one around the corner. It's too dark, and I can't get to the light switch right now because I'm set up for our next project, and I got the bandsaw in the way. Another thing I did too, you notice up there I got some chunks of foam, leftover foam. That storage locker was just crammed full of it. So I got out here and I worked on the ceiling, putting more foam in. That took about a day and a half to do that. And we got 3 bays done. That one, and that one. So we almost got this side done. And I didn't have enough foam left over up there to do another bay, so I'll just hold on to it until I get more. So we've been working on that. And you'll see down there at the end of the driveway, here we'll zoom in on it. RV trailer, 27-foot bunkhouse. In other words, it's got 2 bunks in it, along with a queen bed and a sofa that turns into a bed and a table that turns into a bed. Used to use that for my produce stand. We aren't doing the produce stand anymore. And in fact, we didn't even use it last year. It sat in storage all year. Wife and I decided time to sell it. We could use the cash. So we got home, we've been slowly doing some maintenance on it, and we got to get it cleaned up. It's going up for sale on Monday. Hoping to get rid of it and get some extra cash so we have some cash for West Coast. So we had that project going. And then we're getting started for our second item in the LED lighting product line for the show. I picked up 2 things for 2 separate different projects. One, PVC pipe, and that's what I've got the shop set up for right now. We're going to start working on some adjustable stakes for the LED floodlights. And then we got some tomato stakes, and we're going to be doing, if I have the time, I don't know if I'll get these done in time for West Coast, but I'll be working on those in the evening. I'm making some Stilt B Studio variant of his spotlights. I'm going to be adding my own twist to it. Now on to the stakes and all that PVC pipe. It's going to consist of, actually that's basically what the stake's going to look like there. And we've got a watermark. Hold on here. Sorry, it was raining and you got rained on. It's going to consist of 2 pieces of PVC pipe with 2 end caps and a couple of screws. This piece here is 8 inches long. I've still got to cut a diagonal here so we have a point, so it's easier to drive into the ground. You have a 1/2 inch cap on the top of it. This piece here is about 5 inches long with a cap on it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a screw running from this cap all the way through, so you can get a, I could say that's mounted on a stake, you can get the up-down movement for aiming the box. And then this cross piece is also going to have a screw on it, so you can get the swivel motion as well, so you'll be able to do 2 adjustments with it. But I'm just getting ready. I gotta get all that PVC pipe in out of the trailer. We're gonna run it over the table saw and get our 8-inch piece of piping cut first. I need 400 of them. I'm doing 1 stake for every light, and the stakes are going to be sold separately from the lights. That way people have the option of making their own stakes, or they can buy mine. Either way. It depends on how much money they want to spend. But welcome to welcome to another vlog. We're going to be working on, like I said, those stakes. So we'll give you a process on it. Okay, I've got some PVC pipe in the shop. We've got the table saw set up, and what I'm doing is I'm going to be cutting the 8-inch riser first. And what I've done is I've got my guide out, attached a piece of wood to it, and I measured out. You can see there's a saw cut into it. And the outside lip here, the outside edge here is 8 inches. So basically all I have to do is just put like I've got a piece of PVC pipe on, turn the saw on, and then line up the end of the pipe with the end of the board and just slide it through. And I'll get a constant 8-inch piece of pipe with every cut. And first order of business is I need to cut 400 of those. So we're going to get busy cutting up some PVC pipe into smaller chunks. We've got 400 of the vertical pieces, and we've got 400 of the horizontal. This is the part that the floodlight attaches to. Next step now is over here on the table saw on these vertical pieces. I could just leave them pretty much like that and call it quits. The problem is with the ends being flat, they'd be too hard to get into the ground. So I need to add a point to it. So what I did is I set my saw over at an angle, the angle I wanted, and I'm running these through, and I'm actually putting a point on it. That will help it go be driven into the ground a lot easier. So now I gotta run through that basket over there and this basket. There's 400 of them, and I gotta go through and put a point on all of them. That's the next step. Well, we're making some progress today. Got all the PVC pipe cut to length, both the 8-inch and the little 4-inch up there. And I got these cut with their bevel on them, so they can go in, be driven into the ground easier. Next step with these, and it's just on these 8-inch pieces, we've got to attach a PVC pipe cap to the top of each one. 400 of those, so I need 400 caps. That's what 400 half-inch caps look like. And for that, we're just going to use normal PVC pipe primer and glue them on. But that's the next step. We got to get the caps on those. Anyway, we got this. We got these done to these stages now. I need to get a hole drilled in the cap yet, and I'll be doing that in a little while. But now it's time to start working on these. I also have a cap I need to put on the end of these, but I've got several steps I need to do before I can do that. Right now, I need to get a hole drilled in the pipe right about there to allow for the screw that will mount the floodlight. And then the caps that are going to go on this need a hole in the center of them as well. So I've got to get some drilling done before I can glue up any more stuff. So right now I got all my short pieces sitting out there, got the drill press set up with a small jig, and we're going to sit here and start just punching holes. We'll go real quick on these, and then we'll switch over and yellow tub over there. Got some of the caps, we'll change out a drill bit, get the holes drilled in those, get the holes drilled in those. We're drilling, folks. We went through on the cross members and got all the holes drilled so they accept the screw. Now, next step, I have a PVC pipe caps left that go on the end of the pipe. Problem is, I need a hole drilled in that to accept this screw, which is what's going to join it to the uprights. So before I can glue these caps on to the pipe, I need to drill the hole in the end of the cap. Drill bit will not fit down the length of that pipe in order to get the hole drilled, so I'm going to have to pre-drill it before I mount them onto the pipe. And it's just the same process. I just need to change the drill bit on the drill press so the hole will accept that size of screw. And then I'm also going to need to come back through eventually, and I'll cover it again when I get to it. On these, I got to drill a hole in that cap too, so that screw I'm getting ready to work on now will fit into those. All these little things you got to do before you can get a project done. Okay, now we have all the caps with a hole in it, which will allow for that screw to go through. Now, while I've got the drill press set up, I've got one other thing I need to do, and that is I need to drill a hole in these. That will allow the screw from this cap to attach to the pipe. So I'm going to put the caps off the sides because I still have another step to do on the caps yet before I can get them glued to their pipes. So, put the wrong pot. I'm supposed to put this in here, and I put that in there. That goes there. Anyway, I'm going to be working on that now, and I've got 400 of them I've got to get holes drilled into. So we're going to do that, and then we'll switch back over to those caps. Gives me a chance to get the drill press put away and mess cleaned up. Well, we got the drilling done. We got the caps with their hole in that they needed. And then on the short pieces, we've got their hole. And we just finished up with the long pieces here with their hole in it. Our next step now is to come back to the caps. Now that we've got the hole drilled, we've got two steps I need to do. And one is I need to glue these caps on the ends of these short pieces. If I do that now, it's gonna make one step very difficult. And that's this over here. Is I gotta attach a piece of hardware. It's basically a screw, a nut, and a dab of Loctite to the screw so the bolt does not come loose. And then these need to get glued on to these. And what these are actually for will actually go through the pipe here to give us our up-down tilt for the fog lights or floodlights. Problem is, once these are attached to this, and that's a 5-inch piece, the screw's about 3 to 4 inches long. It's a lot harder to get the screw in and you can get the hardware on. So before I go and glue the caps onto those, I'm going to sit here through all 400 of them and get their nut and bolt put on. Now, like I mentioned, I'm using some Loctite on these. When I go to cinch these down, that will effectively lock the nut into place so it cannot come loose. And I'm doing that not so much to keep people from being able to take that nut off as to keep that, from when you're tightening and loosening these on the pipe, to keep them from working their way loose. So next step, I get to screw it. Okay, we got the hardware attached, and now we need to do step 2 on these. We need to get them glued on to the pipes. So we're going to get started on that next. Oh, well, we got another step done. As I mentioned, I needed to glue the parts up. So we got these all glued up. They're ready to go. So we got 400 of these and 400 of those. Now our next step is basically paint. Now I've had problems with PVC in the past getting paint to stick to the PVC, the plastic. It'll go on, look good, and then you slightly bump it and it wants to peel off. So I made that comment once in chat, And Bobby Atkins, good friend of mine, real smart guy. He's got the brains. Better brains than mine most of the time. I'll admit that right now. I'm not the sharpest tack on the wall. But he suggested, with the PVC, this here is the PVC purple primer. You put this on the PVC, then you put your glue on, then you put your pieces together. He suggested taking some of this primer and just rubbing down anywhere you want to paint. Let it dry and then paint over the top of it. Says it will help the paint stick a lot better. So with this project, I'm going to give it a try. I've got a bowl with some of the primer in it, and I got a sponge, and I'm simply going to get the primer on the sponge and then sponge down all the outsides of all the parts. And then on those yellow cords up there, I'm going to hang them and let them dry. Nice thing is, primer dries real quick. Unlike the paint, that takes a couple hours. But that's going to be our next step. We're going to go through and we're going to turn all the white pipes to purple pipes. Well, it's been about 3 days and we've made it through. We got all the parts primered, they're dry, and they're ready to go for painting, which is what I'm getting ready to do now. I'm just mixing up some black paint. These are all going to get a good heavy coat of black paint. I'm expecting, with dry time and everything, I can do about 190 of them at a time, hanging them up on the drying rack up there. I've got 800 pieces total to do. So I'm imagining, and well, should say it's going to take about an hour or so dry time. So I'll fill up, I'll get 190 pieces up there on the racks. Then I'm going to have to wait an hour or so, maybe 2 hours to let them dry. And then I can undo the rack and do the next load. So I'm expecting this to take probably 3 or 4 days. It is currently a Monday. So I'm hoping by Friday to have them all painted and this project done. But so we got a couple of steps to do. We got to get them painted, then we got to get them assembled to get all the hardware on them. We've had some interruptions today. But we were able to get 207 of them out of the 800 pieces all together. Painted today. I need to let these sit here, especially this last row, sit here and dry for about an hour. Then I can clean the whole rack off, set these off to the side, and start the next set. Problem though, it's about 5:15. By the time these are done drying, it's going to be dinner time, and I've got some family obligations after dinner, so I am not going to get the next set done today. But we got 207 of them done. If I can get roughly about 200 of them done a day, I'll be done Thursday. And then Friday we can start final assembly on these and have this project done, which is me goal. Well, it's the next day, and it's late in the day. What time is it anyway? About 20 after 3, so I'm getting a real late start. We've had doctor's appointments and shit today. I did get out here earlier, and we got all the stakes down, 207 stakes down. Got a better chance of taking a look at them, and they're kind of streaky, I noticed. So they basically need a second coat. My original plan was I was going to do a basket a day, and I'd be done with the painting Thursday. With time and everything, I got chat tomorrow, I had family stuff yesterday, I got doctor's appointments and stuff today. I'm hoping by the weekend I'll have these all painted. But by the look of it, I'm going to have to go back through and give them 2 coats. This one definitely needs a second coat. Others aren't all that bad. So I'm going to give these a second coat. See how long it takes. And I would really like to get this basket done today. So in order to do that, that means I'm going to be out here till around 11 o'clock midnight tonight spraying. I don't know if I have the energy for it, but I do know this basket's definitely going to get recoated today. Then it needs to dry for an hour, and then I can take them down, and I'll see where I'm at. If I can get these done before dinner, fingers crossed, or cigars crossed, however you want to put it, then I'll come back out after dinner and start on another basket. We'll see how we go. We got the last of the parts painted. They've got to dry. I'm going to let them dry overnight. But now that everything has been painted, we can get started assembling them. And for that process, we've got all the nuts, the bolts, and everything out on the table. And I've got enough parts painted and dried here to do half of them. So we're going to get started tonight. I'm not going to get these finished tonight. It's going to take a while. Project's done. I've got 2 tubs crammed full and a basket. There's 400 steaks altogether. And here's what we came up with. Here, we'll put it down here so you can see it a little bit better. With these, this part here, the long part with the tapered point, is what you drive into the ground. Here, that fastener there, that's where you attach your floodlight. And there's enough room here that will allow you to pivot the floodlight left or right. And then for your up and down angle on the stake, you can loosen this up and rotate this whole bar to where you need it, and then tighten that back down to lock it in. But I have 400 stakes made and done. The only thing left to do is I gotta get these all wrapped and boxed up. And I'm not gonna vlog that. But for all effective purposes, the stake project is done. Now, one of the things that we are going to be doing for West Coast is I'm going to be putting a kit together that's going to have 4 floodlights, 4 stakes, and a power adapter with a 6-foot extension on it. So we'll have that available for West Coast, and I'm going to shoot another vlog here with that set outside, showing how to install the stakes, hook up the floodlights, and aiming them, and what have you. It'll be like a 2 or 3 minute little vlog, nothing really major, but I'll give you an idea on how the stakes works and what the floodlights look like. So be watching for that. But other than that, I'm going to bring this vlog to a close. We're going to say, stay spooky and stay toxic.